Alright, guys. Episode 5 of Courtesy Cast. What's up, everybody? Bubby's gone again. Probably at another orchestra.
Hell
It's
yeah.
got Jesse and Jacqueline here. And me, of course. Me. I'm always here.
It
is my podcast, after all. And one day I won't be here, and then it won't be mine anymore.
You're going to get
It'll still
kicked
be
off.
yours.
And then we'll rehire you for the next season.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Your
And there's
season
one episode in a season, so we're already at season 5. Probably gonna end soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So better catch up while you guys can.
Like Game of Thrones, you know.
Ugh.
It's ending
Let's
today.
not mention Game of Thrones on the podcast.
Anyways. So first thing we're going to talk about today is video games that we played a lot when we were kids. Like our first games and games that like had a huge impact on us.
Mm-hmm.
How about you go first, Jacqueline? Because I'm actually really interested as to what you're going to say.
Me too.
My first video game?
Yeah. What's your first video game?
It's hard to ask somebody that question, because I mean, my first video game could be like a Leapfrog gamepad or something, you know what I mean? Like, what really defines a video game?
One that you
Okay.
remember. I don't know.
Just like a game that you played that was a video game that you remember.
Okay. One of
playing.
my first favorite video games was this Little Bear video game. I played it on my computer.
Little
PC
Bear.
gamer, you know me. And that's when we had a home computer, a family computer. It was owned by everyone. It was very large, and it resided in our kitchen because this was back in the day, and that's how it worked. There was no like personalized.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, there's no personal
Mhm.
computers, so it was in our kitchen, strangely enough, and I would play that. Wait, why did I start telling this story? This is actually embarrassing.
Go on.
Okay, well, I
Little
went
Bear.
I went to a very small Catholic school, and it was like a schoolhouse. Like, it basically just looked like a big schoolhouse, and there wasn't, it wasn't bigger. I'm trying to get to the point that it was very small, and for some reason, like, there's like a lot of lice there. Like, there was just always a lice outbreak. To the point where, like,
Oh God.
my mom was combing my hair, just searching and hoping and using lice shampoo, even though I didn't have them. It was, like, really
That's terrifying.
concerning that I could get them at any time because everybody was getting lice, and we had to put our backpacks in trash bags and et cetera, et cetera. Like, it was really bad. That school was
Wow.
just crawling with lice, and it was all... Well, okay, we're not going to point any fingers. I would play my Little Bear video game while my mom combed my hair. I hated having my hair brushed when I was little because I always had knots in it from playing and rolling around on the carpet. You know me. And
Hey,
I just
yo.
hated getting it combed. So I would play Little Bear, and it made me feel better. And I would cook cookies with Mama Bear, and I would help out my other friends. I have fond memories of that game. Just looking at it now brings back a feeling of nostalgia. There's a lot of other video games I played on the computer, like themed around movies and shows of my childhood.
Mhm.
But I also played Pokemon Red on the Game Boy. That was really
Mhm.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Everything like you're saying is reminding me of like similar childhood experiences, especially the lice, and like especially the home computer thing. Like that brought back a flood of memories, because it wasn't until like I want to say 2002 or 3 is when we first got our home computer, and it was used only for work. Like my mom got it for school, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that wouldn't be my first video game, so I just, yeah, but it made me remember it.
So what was your first video game?
I genuinely want to say my very first video game was either Super Mario Bros, Mega Man X, or Mortal Kombat, because
So which game did you like the most?
I liked Mega Man. I didn't really care for Mario. Mortal Kombat was scary, but it was still intriguing at the same time, because I remember I was sitting there watching my dad play it, and he'd have his Navy buddies over or something, and I walk in, and if my mom wasn't home, he would be like, "Here, bub, come sit next to us. We'll play a game with us." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And if she was, "You got to go back to your room, son." I'm like, "Okay, Dad." But as we're sitting there playing it, I just remember Mortal Kombat having these disgusting, evil-looking trees. I'm like, ugh, that's terrifying. Why would anyone want to play this? And then when I'd play Mega Man, I would always get stuck in the same exact places. But it wasn't until I discovered that I was playing Mega Man X when I was a kid, when I got at Mega Man X for my Wii U, and I was like, wait a second, I remember this really well. Why? I'd never played this game before. And then like, it's like that. Guys ever watch Bug's Life?
Yeah.
Where like in the scene where he finds out that the bugs are not warriors, they're a bunch of circus bugs, and it like pans from being really far away and goes bing, zooms really in. That's how I felt. I was like, just like that. But and I didn't really understand what I was doing when I played it. That's why like realizing later in life, like, oh shit, I did play that, was kind of a big moment for me, because it reconnected me with a part of my childhood that I had completely forgotten. And it wasn't until I was 10 until I got my very first Game Boy, and it came with Pokemon Yellow, and that was when I started my Pokemon journey. Literally, like, I from that point on, that was the only game I played for years.
That's interesting. See, we have all had Pokemon on the Game Boy when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure that. And that's probably where most of our childhood gaming memories come from. I mean, who in our generation didn't have that? We grew up during the Pokemon like phenomenon of the late 90s, early 2K.
Yeah.
Like, all of us were like in that hard. But for me, I mean, my dad was a gamer, and he played video games and had a computer and everything.
Same.
Like, before I was even born. So we didn't have like a family computer. It was my dad's computer, and he had Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, and he had an NES and a Super Nintendo. I was born into that.
That's cool.
So my first game, I don't even though we had an NES, we also had an SNES.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did play Super Mario Bros. On the NES because I played Super Mario World on the SNES.
Yep.
And I liked that game a lot. So I went back and played the original. Never beat it. Still haven't beaten it to this day. Even using the skips, because like the later worlds are just so freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I probably could do it with save states, but it's just not the same. I just feel like incomplete if I did it that way. If I beat Super Mario Bros. On the NES for the first time in my adulthood using save states on an emulator, I would feel dirty. I still haven't beaten the game for that reason.
That's some integrity right there, though.
I know, like, I don't know. It's something special with that game, because I did beat The Legend of Zelda with save states, like the original Legend of Zelda. So, but I guess like my first video game would probably be Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, and then
That's such a fun game.
A lot of what I played when I was little after that. Come on, Ollie, lie down.
Aw, puppy.
A lot of what I would play when I was little would end up being my Game Boy Color, because me and my brother Joey, he got the red Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red version, and I got the blue Game Boy Color with Pokemon Blue version.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they both came with carrying bags with the Game Boy Color that was colored the color, and also, what's it called? Link cables. They all came with that.
Yes, I love the link cables, dude.
So that was, of course, that was a majority of my childhood gaming. But I guess like the more like impactful games that I played were probably the N64, because I was actually old enough to understand, comprehend, and enjoy media and entertainment at that age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you're younger, you're like, oh yeah, video game, okay, see ya. Oh wow, cards, okay, see ya. Oh wow, look at this new cool thing. Wow, a toy. Oh, you're like, you just don't have the attention span. Like I never beat Super Mario World when I was a little kid. It was until I was like in 5th grade or like 6th grade that I beat Super Mario World. I was like, oh man, look, our Super Nintendo. Wow, let's hook it back up. Oh, Super Mario World still works. Gotta blow in the cartridge, but yeah, wow, look at it, it's going. And then I beat the game, and I was like, man, I never beat this when I was a kid. This is great. Well, I said that, but I was like 10 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But N64 was definitely the bigger impact on my childhood self.
Can I piggyback off that?
Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah.
Like, you saying it like that, of the playing a game and revisiting it, has been like the theme of this year. That's all I wanted to say, because like it'll open up a much bigger topic. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I met Jesse Parker, who's, you know, my best friend.
N64?
Anybody who doesn't know. Yeah, we were talking about just like Banjo-Kazooie and how fun and cool it was, and how like funny it was and everything like that, and the music was really fun.
I love the music of that game.
And we just met during recess and talked about that, and then we became friends. We started going over to each other's houses and everything, and he's getting married this September or August, and I'm gonna be his best man.
That's
Gosh,
so
that's
That was
awesome.
video games, man.
That is soon.
Yeah. Crazy. But what about you, Jacqueline? What was your first like video game console, or like bunch of video games that like you really actually got into, like video games?
Definitely Tomb Raider. I would just watch my dad play Tomb Raider all the time, and our neighbor, the old man, he would come over. I mean, he's an old man, but that's what we call him. That's his name. He's the old man. He would come over and watch. I have to like clarify that because I forget that people wouldn't know. But I have to clarify that because I forget that people wouldn't know.
I feel like
Anyway.
I feel like
wow,
if
did
you-
your brain just restart?
I feel like if this old man were in a video game, he would have the title The Old Man and have just a small little picture of himself, but he would be a reoccurring
Yeah.
character.
It's kind of
Yes.
like how in
wanna
Persona
do-
5, Sojiro's name is Sojiro, but at the end of the game, like, you call him Sojiro at first, and people mention him as Sojiro, but near the end of the game, they just call him Boss.
Oh.
Just remembering all, like, just trying to remember somebody's name, just like, I'll just call you Boss, or
Hey, boss.
Old Man, or, you know, whatever.
Anyway, yeah, it would be me, my dad, and the old man. We just watched my dad play Tomb Raider, and there was a lot of Tomb Raider games. Like, there's so many game series now, but Tomb Raider was one series that really it was fun to watch him play. I loved watching Lara Croft, and I went back and played those games myself a lot.
See, that's the cool part, is when like I've had a lot of games where I would sit back and I'd watch my dad play whatever it was, and then years later, or maybe not even years, maybe when he went to work that day, I don't know, I'd just pick it up and start playing the game. It's like, it's, I don't know, a satisfying feeling to replicate what your parents are doing. It's like, oh, cool. Like for me, my dad used to play Perfect Dark, I think it was
Yeah.
called, all
Ooh,
the
I love that
time.
game.
I did not like playing the game, but I loved watching my dad play it. Like, there's just, he was good at it, and it was fun to watch him go through, like, and shoot people and aliens and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's just, I don't want to play this game. It's scary. But Dad, that's fucking cool. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Didn't you ever
Resident
feel
Evil
that
as
way, like,
well. For my
Watching
dad.
your parents or your older sibling play a game that's like, oh, that's too much for me. But man, I can't look away when you're playing it.
Mhm.
Like, just like what Jacqueline just said, like Resident Evil. Oh man, when I was a kid, that would give me nightmares. But holy crap, Joey's gonna play Resident Evil 3 today. I have to see this.
Yup.
I remember when we got older, we had an Xbox 360, and there was Condemned Criminal Origins. That game terrified me. we were doing this thing where like, have you ever guys ever done this where you get like a bunch of group of friends and you all like go and it's like nighttime and it's dark in the house or the room or wherever you are, and you guys just like pass around the controller like, okay, I'm too scared, it's your turn now.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how it was with Condemned, but in the end, Joey ended up playing most of it because I was just so terrified. There's this section where like you're in a old rundown department store, but all the mannequins move around, but they pretend to be mannequins until you get really close, and then they start moving, and you can realize it's a person. We let Joey play through most of that section because when they would hand the controller to me, I'd be like, I can't move. I don't want to get attacked. And they're like, come on, just play. It's just a video game. I'm like, I can't do this, guys, please. But nowadays, you know, scary movies and games don't like really actually scare me at all. It's kind of weird.
Once I got a bit older, and I wasn't just like playing outside and watching my dad play games, and I more wanted to play games myself and like would look forward to just playing video games after school every single day. That's when I really started getting into Kingdom Hearts. That was like, I guess that was like my dad passing the torch, where now I don't just play what my dad plays, I play my own games. And man, Kingdom Hearts, I was just so deeply in love with that game. I remember being in middle school when the second game came out and feeling like it's all I could think about. Like, even while I was in school, I would just wait until I could stop focusing on my work for 1 second so that I could think about Kingdom Hearts 2 and what's gonna happen next. And oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Where's Sora? Who's Roxas? What's going on? This is so much fun. I was obsessed with that game when it came out.
Yeah. Me too, man.
I remember...
I beat that game maybe like 6 times. And I remember... This is like when I first actually got into playing video games. Like, not just like, I'm playing a game and it's fun and I'm getting to the end of the game. Wow, I beat the game. It's, all right, this is my 4th run of Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm going to try and beat Sephiroth at level 40. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like the shit I do nowadays. That's what Kingdom Hearts brought me into. Kingdom Hearts 2, at least.
It's funny you say that because, like, it wasn't until I met you that I realized that there was even a competitive scene for video games. Like, I thought for the longest time that video games were purely for just entertainment. There wasn't any competitive aspect for it at all. And so I never really pushed myself. I was that pick up a game, play through the story, and then that's it. You're done. You don't get to play it no more. That's it. You've gotten what you needed out of it. And, like, especially with Kingdom Hearts, like, I remember, I think I was in 6th grade, like, just the beginning year, 5th grade to 6th grade, and our friend Tony, he's a really good friend of ours. He's been in our family for years. We were talking about him the other day. We actually have pictures of him with us when I was a toddler, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
But anyway, he bought us Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which that game was really fun when I first played through and beat it, but it's a terrible game. And then we also got Kingdom Hearts, and that was my like introduction to fantasy games, because it was after that I bought my own GameCube. I got Tales of Symphonia, Harvest Moon. Like, I started finally branching out into like all these different games because of this. Like, oh, I mean, I don't know this. Like Symphonia, I was the first game I bought with my GameCube, and that was February of 2006. And like, having that experience that I got through Kingdom Hearts, where I go from this boy on an island, and I was living on an island, Oak Harbor. I was like, oh my god, it's me, dude. This is cool.
Same though. Like, for real. Like, wow, there's a bigger world out there. Wow, you know, like, just being born on that island and living there for so long. Like, Kingdom Hearts really vibed with me too.
And like, after you beat the game and you lose, like, Kairi as she's like floating away, I cried, and I'm like, I don't care about these people. It's just a video. Why am I crying? It's so beautiful. And like, it skyrocketed my love for playing these games that like really just, they don't even have to teach you a lesson. It just, you care about what's going on for the characters in fantasy games. And I don't know. I don't think I don't think I would be the same person if I didn't grow up with those experiences too.
May I add something?
Yeah.
What you said about the Oogie Boogie thing reminded me, like, I mean, these days, I don't play a ton of AAA games, but I can still appreciate them. I really like indie games and all. But shout out to, like, the PlayStation 2 and GameCube era of just games based on movies that I used to always play. Like, I don't play those games anymore, but I loved me some, like, Finding Nemo or, like, Ice Age, Bullcrab, no, not Zootopia. What's the other one called? Madagascar.
Madagascar, dude.
Yeah. Movie, just like kids movies / kids shows turned into video games was like a huge portion of the original Xbox and PS2 era.
Mm-hmm.
I would just rent that from Blockbuster, and
Let
it's
me
so
tell
weird
you.
to say
From
that now.
Blockbuster, dude. Oh my god.
Let me tell you, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, I would still play that game today.
That game was fun, dude.
I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, I mean, like what you were saying before, competitive like video games. I don't know what got me into actually like playing video games and challenging myself and doing harder difficulties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just to like satisfy my own craving for something more out of the same games that I have, because I didn't really have a lot of money when I was a kid. So, I mean, from like, you know, I didn't come up as like a family that had money.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that we were poor, but we definitely didn't have a lot. And so a few games that I did have, I tried to like squeeze as much out of them as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what turned it on for me, because nowadays you would probably see that in a YouTube video. Well, YouTube was like in its infancy when I was a kid, and it was like dog videos and cat videos and stuff.
Or
but
Sneezing Panda or all that, YouTube.
Yeah, bullcrap.
Yeah.
But then when I met you and you didn't even like fathom that was a thing, and I was like, you were like, oh man, I don't understand this in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and I was like, oh dude, check this out, and you're like, whoa, what are all those commands you have? And I was beating Vanitas' Lingering Spirit. You're like, okay, this guy knows something that I don't.
Yep.
And then when I borrowed your copy, I think this is where we actually started competing against each other instead of just playing like a game and going, wow, look at the cool stuff that I have. I borrowed your copy of Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS.
Yep.
And I started speedrunning the levels. Just, I already beat the game. Let's try beating the levels faster. And I was like destroying all your records on your game.
Yeah.
You were like, are you kidding me? And you're like, I'm gonna break his records. And you did all this stuff, and then I was like, oh man, this one score that you have, dude, like, I don't understand how you like did this. You're like, what do you mean? I was like, see, look at this, check this out. And I sped run the level, and I was like roll jumping off of Goombas to get an extended long jump and all that kinds of stuff. And I was going really fast, and you're like, I am not gonna show you what I did, because what you just did was way crazier than anything I could think of. And I was like, what do you mean? You're like, I can't show you. I have to go beat your records. And you took the game back, and I was like, dude, come on, you have to show me. There's no, you're like 60 seconds lower than my speed. How did you do that? You're like, dude, I can't show you. I just can't, like. And then one day, after you actually got on like the same level as me, and we were both like speedrunning levels really fast, you were like, all right, dude, I'll show you what I did back then. And all it was getting a fucking Tanuki suit and floating across the lava to skip half the level. I was like, you've got to be kidding me, dude. I did all these like speed tech and all this like crazy stuff, and he just Tanuki leafed across the lava. Like,
yep.
What?
Yeah, I remember feeling, dude, literally, I'm sitting there. You're like, dude, check this out. You're doing all these moves, and like as it's going on, it's like that moment when you just get these sweat drops forming above your brow. You're like, oh, fuck. If I show him, I'll never beat his record. I can't do it.
You were like, holy crap, I didn't even know you could do any of this stuff in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. I just tried to go really fast and this and that and all this stuff. And you're like, I can't show you, dude. I'm sorry. I just can't. That was great.
I think
we had lots of fun playing games in high school.
Yeah, and like to be honest, I feel like without that type of influence of somebody who showed me a different side of video games, I would have never gone and done competitive Pokemon. I would have never gone and done competitive Smash Bros. Or I genuinely think I would not have played anything competitive. The fact that I even played Overwatch was a huge step forward for me because that's a competitive multiplayer game where you do work with other people, and I'm so used to those game. Like I came from, I only had this handheld. And the only time I could play a console game was my dad, and my dad didn't really have time to one show me how to play video games, or two, like be the one to say, hey, there's you can do more than just that, right? Like to be honest, my dad and I didn't really play video games all that often. It was mostly just me, and then sometimes I would mention to the kids at the park that I played Pokemon, but they never brought their Game Boys with them, so it didn't matter. And I always brought my Game Boy with me everywhere. I brought my Game Boy and a link cable just in case someone wanted to battle. Like, there was 4 different parks in our area. I would carry my lime green Game Boy with my Pokemon Yellow, and I go sit at the park. I had like a little cubby that I made for myself under the slide where I'd hide all my stuff. And it's probably, thinking about it, not probably good to cover your Game Boy Color in pebbles, but whatever. No one found it. And I would sit there and play, and a kid would walk up. I'm like, hey, what's up? Do you want to play? They're like, yeah. I'm like, guys want to make a volcano? Okay, sure. So we got in the ground, we make a volcano, and they go, you guys like Pokemon? They're like, oh, we love Pokemon. Do you want to play Pokemon? Sure. And then we'd play imaginary Pokemon for a bit. And I was like, I have the real game. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, check this out. You want to play? And I let them play for a bit. And I'd watch them play, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And they go, oh, that's cool. Couple, I don't know, like a month later, after I never saw that kid again, and come back to them being back at the park. I'm like, hey, dude. They're like, oh, what's up, man? Look, I got my own Game Boy. Dude, that's cool. You want to battle? Sure, dude. And we battle. I was like, wow, that was fun. But that's it. That's all I ever had with other people. There wasn't anybody who's like, no, dude. See this door? Through here, there's more. There's some more in here.
I don't think Jacqueline ever got into that.
No.
Like, she plays Overwatch, and she gets pretty competitive with it, but she doesn't do, like, challenge runs or, like, speed runs of levels or anything like that at all.
It takes
Overwatch
away
is as
fun to
competitive as she
compete
is.
for me. I just, like, it makes it too serious in my, I don't know. Everybody just, like, feels different about competitive stuff, and I don't have much of a competitive nature.
Yeah, I can agree with that, because, like, after I learned how to do competitive Pokemon, it also was the nail in the coffin for that game for me, Like, it's genuinely fun to play competitive Pokemon, but it's also, like, when you learn the mechanics to make perfect Pokemon and how to battle with them, the battling portion should be what's taught in the game, and the perfect creation Pokemon should become standard in the game as well. So it just made me not like the way the games were designed at all. And so I just don't really care for Pokemon that much anymore. I think the creatures are cool, but just the base game, like how it plays, sucks. And it hasn't changed for the last 20 years,
And that's the real shame about it, right? Like, I like Pokemon and all, but, like, if you play competitive Pokemon and then you go back and try to play Pokemon casually, the casual game has the life sucked out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as fun because it's not challenging at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You can play the game with any Pokemon, regardless of type, regardless of their stats, and the game just feeds you experience and feeds you as many items as it can give you, and just makes the game as free as possible because anybody should be able to beat Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
once you go into competitive, I mean,
that was like when I streamed, I think it was Pokemon Sun. I was playing through that whole series. I've been playing through the whole game, and what I did was I had viewers send me eggs of Pokemon that they bred for my team, and every single one I got was an ass Pokemon. I got like, what was that? Sunkern as a starting Pokemon. I got a Magikarp.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, you guys are assholes, but even with all these shitty Pokemon, I made it through the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an issue that Pokemon you cannot obtain until much later in the game, and they designed that for that very specific reason. You beat that game with Pokemon that are just total ass, lowest base stats in the game, But that also kind of leads us to Detective Pikachu, guys, because
Yeah.
But
that
they want it to be so that you can play Pokemon with your favorite Pokemon.
it should be
That's
that
true.
way.
Because no matter how bad a Pokemon may seem to other people, it's all about how good the trainer is.
True.
That is how the experience should be, and that's how I
However, it
should
does
be
I mean,
create
looking
that
at it.
gap for you.
Nobody expected a guy to win worlds with a Pachirisu, but look what happened.
Right? Rest in peace, Sejun Park. He didn't die, but just rest in peace.
Same with Reggie. Rest in peace,
Reggie.
Anyways, Detective Pikachu. I thought it was okay. I liked some aspects to it. Some Pokemon were cute. A lot of them were ugly. 6 out of 10. What do you think, Jesse?
Story was paced a little too fast, shoved a lot of the exposition in your face, but it's a children's movie, so I need to expect that they need to help guide the younger audience if they're not really used to the flow of mystery movies and how they work, So I don't really take points off as much for that because I'm not their audience, and I understand that walking to that theater,
Baby's first mystery.
Pikachu was adorable. Ryan Reynolds, his performance
Was adorable. I'm just kidding.
Ryan Reynolds was adorable. The only issue I truly had with the movie, right? The Pokemon were cool. The fact that they were ugly is what attracted me to them. And at the end, when all of a sudden Ryan Reynolds is his dad, it threw me off because I'm like, when I see Ryan Reynolds...
Wait, really?
What?
I mean,
Why did
okay.
it threw... Are you asking why it threw me off?
No, I meant like I knew that Ryan Reynolds was going to be his dad just because Ryan Reynolds voiced the Pikachu, and I knew just from the context of the trailer alone
Yeah.
that Ryan Reynolds was
go-
his real dad inside of Pikachu's body.
I think because of the fact that I see Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds, the actor, I think of, Detective Pikachu, played by played by Ryan Reynolds. And then at the end, was it?
Reynolds.
Tim's dad is played by Ryan Reynolds. And so when Tim finally gets his dad back, he gets Ryan Reynolds back. He doesn't get Tim's dad because I don't know why, but I imagined Howard to be more like a Professor Oak mixed with like a Professor Rowan because he's a detective. He's a gruff-looking guy.
Isn't his name Harry?
Harry Goodman.
Okay.
And
I thought you said Howard. I thought.
Oh yeah.
Did I
just
say
accepted
Howard?
that
I was
as
like,
being his
wait,
name.
isn't his name Harry?
Sorry, you are right.
Go
I
on.
think I did say Howard, but like Ryan Reynolds does not look like a detective to me, which is also
No, he doesn't.
that's why it kind of threw me off. I'm like, that's his dad, the detective. Like as Pikachu, it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. Yeah, dude, talk it up as Ryan Reynolds. I don't give a fuck. But then when you get Ryan Reynolds in the movie, for me it like breaks the continuity of the whole movie. I'm like, I don't know.
The thing is I think the casting was okay, but I think the Detective Pikachu game, Detective Pikachu sounds like a gruff detective.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm assuming the story is the same, so when your dad comes out, you expect him to look like a gruff detective, and he probably does. But Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu doesn't sound like a gruff detective, and neither does Ryan Reynolds look like one when he becomes human either.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
right. Yeah, we
And
forgot
also,
spoilers.
thanks for saying Tim, dude, because me and Jacqueline were sitting there. We were thinking, man, what a shitty, forgettable protagonist. What the hell was his name even?
Yeah.
And we couldn't even know. We remembered Lucy. We remembered the name of the evil bad guy and the name of his son.
I don't remember
Okay.
them. I've seen the movie twice, and I don't remember them.
Yeah, see, we just couldn't remember his name. We were like, Tim. And also, that scene where he's sitting there with Pikachu. Okay, I mean, there's some things to say, but, like, of course, the Pikachu couldn't move at all physically because it was some kind of rigging that they just had something on so that way he could put the detective hat on Pikachu's
You
head.
saw it too, yeah.
So he was just sitting there doing nothing the whole time, maybe, like, twiddling his feet or whatever. And Tim, like, him trying really, really hard to cry
Mm-hmm.
like swallowing like 6 or 7 times before a single tear drops from his eye.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so hard to watch. But like, that's just that one scene that made me feel that way. The rest of it was like good and it was fun, whatever.
What about you, Jacqueline?
I didn't like it.
At all?
I went in skeptical though, so maybe that's why. No, I laughed a couple times. There was a couple cool things. Not all of the Pokemon were hideous, but overall I found it visually unappealing, and I felt as though the story was really generic and it was full of cliches.
Yeah,
So
it was.
it was like I didn't even really need to see it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
But as a video game movie, it's like leader of the herd, right?
I guess
I guess that's how low the standards are for video game movies, but it was pretty good considering.
yeah, as far as movies go, I didn't enjoy it and I wouldn't watch it again. It was a pretty bad movie. But as far as a video game movie goes, it was okay.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment of it. Like, I watched it once with my brother Chris because I was like, I support Ryan Reynolds and I like what he does. And so I'll.
Is that what it was?
That's really
Not Pokemon?
And it wasn't Pokemon. That's not the reason I wanted to see it. I didn't care for realistic looking Pokemon. Which, a little cool fact, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. I think it starts with like an AUZ or something like that. An artist who draws realistic Pokemon
Yes.
was.
Oh yeah, the DeviantArt guy from like a million years ago. Got
Yeah,
hired on.
that's cool because I've been looking at that guy's stuff for a
That
while.
is really cool for him. Yeah.
And I remember
know
watching
this
his
is
streams,
harsh,
and I
but-
met him at TwitchCon too. Sorry, go ahead, Jacqueline.
Oh.
Wow.
Maybe I shouldn't say anything.
No, go ahead.
I remember seeing those types of drawings back then, and I feel as though they sparked a lot of cartoon to realistic type of drawings that are like memes now or boardwalk
Yeah.
t-shirts now. And I really don't like
Right.
that sort of thing. So for them to make a movie out of that and look just like that, and I find out that it is from him, I felt like
Like your soul left your body.
yes, I don't want that. I don't want it.
I'm gonna be honest. I think a more stylized 3D model rigging for Pokemon would be a lot better because even in the beginning, when they got out to go catch that Cubone, right? I could not take it seriously because almost every like fan-made YouTube video starts out in a scene almost exactly like that, an
Right?
open field.
It did feel like a YouTube video.
Yeah, and it's just like, guys, you gotta do more than that to be like reel me in. And then when they started getting into the downtowns of Rhyme
Yes.
City, I was
Rhyme
like,
City.
okay,
First
like
getting there
this.
was the high point of the movie.
yeah.
Okay, so obviously the very beginning intro had like a budget of like $100, and then
For
like
real.
the rest of the movie was like the millions of dollars.
Yeah,
See, with that sort of budget, I really expect more. I don't know. I feel like it's just what I thought it would be, you know? Like a generic story. Lame, like Disney, Marvel superhero, bullcrap family style jokes. And hey, look, we happen to get Ryan Reynolds. Everybody come see our movie because we have famous Hollywood actor. And
it worked
that's
for me.
not enough for me. It did work for you.
It did work for you. Like you didn't even give a shit about the Pokemon at this point. You're like, oh, cool. Okay, so I kind of want to move on to the next topic, but I want to say the very end of the movie where they showed the actual Pokemon art
Yeah,
of the characters from the film
Best part of the movie.
was the best part of the movie.
it was.
Like if they made an entire movie, if they made the entire movie using the engine that they used to make Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and just had voice
Oh my
acting
God,
and put
yeah.
in their own personal assets and stuff, and it was like I was watching a machinima but an entire movie and all that shit was happening.
Yeah,
I would have liked that a million times more than the movie that they came out with.
So Detective Pikachu, I agree with 6 out of 10. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good judgment of it.
I think Jacqueline would probably set it lower, but
5 out of 10. That's
I
fine.
think with
3
a
out of
generous
10.
eye,
Oh,
6 out of 10 is pretty good.
With a generous eye, though, because I mean, I would separate.
I mean, I'm biased. I love Pokemon because it's part of my childhood. What do you
Me
want me to
too.
say?
Yeah.
But I guess I'm being hipster then, right? Because I only want it to look like it did when I was a kid. I don't know. I just think the movie sucked.
No, I think you're right. I think you're just being a hipster. Sorry, Jacqueline.
I can take the hit on this one, but it's like that stupid like Disney 3D like brought to life. Oh god, I just hate this stupid theme of
I do too.
let's like flex how much we can use our new CGI, add as many hairs and moles and disgusting features as possible, make it look even worse than real life looks. Wow, what a great movie.
Hey, Bulbasaur was fucking cute, dude. Okay,
It
like.
wasn't.
Oh, what? No, he was okay. When I
Anyways,
saw
Game Club.
Yeah, let's go. Let's start on Game Club.
I beat Mirror B.
Oh.
I streamed it on Monday. What can I say?
I missed
beat
it.
Mirror B. I got very distracted. It was really fun though.
Oh, that was a
I was
fun
having a
stream.
blast. That was such a fun stream. I was having a
Dang.
blast. The game is ridiculous. Opening the hearts of Shadow Pokemon is very tedious and boring at this point. And frankly, I probably don't want to do any more of that until...
I have a trick for you if you'd like to. We'll talk about it later. Continue experience though.
The underground area where I'm really starting to not care. Because usually when I play RPGs, I want to scour the lands. I want to look at everything there is to do. Level all the characters as much as I can. You know, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But with this game, I'm like, oh, is there more trainers in this underground area? Oh, do I really have to open this Pokemon's heart? All this stuff. You know what? Where's Mirror B? Here he is. Let's go. And, you know, the whole Apom memes that Jacqueline
yeah.
and Darshan were doing the whole time were just killing me, and I was having so much fun. It was hilarious. Like, Ambipom squirting milk out of his, like, inflated, like, hand because it looks like an udder. That is hilarious.
That's gross.
You're gonna have to put that in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Shout out to Darshan.
Shout out to Darshan's art of Ambipom squirting milk out of its
That's so gross,
tail
but
hand.
I love that. Imagine if they
and
put
holding
that.
a gun in his other hand,
Oh.
threatening you to drink the banana milk.
Oh shit! Things got
It's
dark.
not even yellow.
It's not even yellow, it's pink. Oh my
Ooh.
god, Taryn came in the room and he was like, alright. He's like, Darshan's like, okay guys, here we go. Taryn's here. He's giving a good critique about my drawing of Ambipom. And Taryn's like, so the milk that's coming out, it's got layers to it, right? And it's not like peanut butter where it's got like a layer of oil on the top and the rest of it's like at the bottom, like they've separated. It's like even the stream that's coming out of the udder has those layers. It's like it you know what I mean? Almost looks, he didn't say this, but it looks like a snack pack pudding where they have like the darker chocolate and the lighter chocolate in it. Like that's what it looks like,
Banana flavored,
but pink.
but pink.
Kind
But
of
anyways,
like
that was
colored.
that was really fun. Mirror B was interesting. It was just like fight like 5 Ludicolo's or something,
Pretty much.
or 6. I don't
Who's
remember.
Ludicolo? Oh, that's
But
Lumbre.
that's Lumbre's evolved form.
Ludicolo and
Yeah, it
then,
was fun.
Whenever I see Lumbre, I think of French class, and I think of him as like l'ombre.
I would say it like that.
Which means what?
It doesn't mean anything. It's just how I want to read it naturally now.
Oh, okay.
L'ombre.
L'ombre.
All right, Jesse, what's your trick?
Have you gotten to the really grassy and only grassy place in the game yet?
No. No, I just beat Mirror B. That's it.
It's just after that. So like after you beat him, you'll get like a urge to go to Musty's grandparents or something, and
I like how her name in this fucking podcast canonically is Musty.
honestly, it's the most fitting name I've ever had for her.
She's like
Like-
knockoff Misty.
She is, and like even though musty is a term for like kind of an undesirable smell, it works for her because she's kind of an undesirable looking character. You
We
know?
never asked for a
Oh,
partner in this
God.
game.
Huh?
We never asked for a partner in this game.
No, we didn't even ask to save her. We just said, you're going to save her, right? Yeah, I guess. Guess I
I
am.
mean, the best part of the game was when you fought that guy with the zigzagoons at the beginning.
Oh, especially
Because you were alone.
and the music. Dun, dun,
Oh, yeah.
dun, dun. It was great. The trick is, when you get to the city where the grandparents live, there's these little edges closest to the exit of the city, but they're like ledges just above the entrance. And if you go and put your character there and point the controller down and leave your controller laying on the left stick like that, you could prop it up or whatever, your character will have the walking animation, the screen will shake wildly, but it all counts as steps towards unlocking their heart. So if you're at work and you're like, I don't want to do this, put a bunch of shadow Pokemon in your party, go to that spot, turn it on, place a controller there, go to work your 5 to 8 hour shift, come back home, all your shadow Pokemon are ready to be opened, and you're like, oh, well, that was easy, and you move on. But you don't get any experience for doing that. So
I mean, you don't get experience anyways.
no, after you unlock their hearts, all of the experience that they were battling comes back to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, don't. It's stupid.
Honestly, I'm not gonna even unlock their hearts.
Just do the
Honestly.
really big ones, dude.
Honestly, I want them to all like be on the cusp of like having a chance at like imagining what it could be like to have an unlocked heart and then put them in the box.
That's so fucked.
I'm just kidding. I'll unlock some hearts
Ow.
for the Pokemon that I like, I guess.
One or two of them.
Yanma doesn't even have any good moves, so fuck him.
Yanma also can't evolve,
He's
so fuck him.
He's a flying bug, and it's all his moves are normal type except for Shadow Rush. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
Like, get out of here. I really needed a bug when I was fighting like 6 Ludicolo. Are you kidding me?
And like you don't even get him until like a good fighting or a good bug Pokemon until much later.
Well, you know, bug Pokemon suck anyways.
Yeah.
They have like 7,000 weaknesses.
What about
They're
you?
weak to poison. They're weak to fire. They're weak to rock. They're weak to... If they're flying, they're weak to ice. They're weak to... I mean, most of them are flying, unless
Most
they're
of them.
part poison, in which case they're normal affected by psychic,
Also-
which is, like, one of the reasons you would actually use them for.
Also, why isn't Pinsir also fighting type? If what's
Also, why is Venomoth flying bug?
why isn't it poison bug?
Exactly.
Why isn't Dustox poison bug?
I feel like Dustox is Dustox flying bug?
I think he's bug flying, yeah. Not poison bug or poison flying.
Wow, this game sucks. And by that, I mean the Pokemon series as a whole.
Yeah. Jacqueline, what's your opinion? How's your experience been with Pokemon Colosseum? Yeah.
Well, I was helping draw Banana Slamma, so I saw Mirror B when Jacob was streaming.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Mirror B was great. I like Mirror B's song.
I like how it has a voice in it. Yep.
Whatever the hell it says.
It's like Mario when he's like he decided to get a new gig as a Spanish singer and he's just like Ascoprieto. Okay.
Luigi's like, okay. All right.
So far, like, I think so far no one really gives a fuck about this game, if I'm being honest. I also have lost interest in it. I'm gonna finish it, but I've lost interest in this game because like I got to this point where I was incredibly underleveled because I was able to cheese my way through a lot of the more important fights just by doing bullshit tactics like confusion paralysis and flinching moves. So just go
Right.
just
Yeah,
there.
that's what I've
I'm
been
done.
doing too.
Right? It's like the only tactic you can use at early game. And then I've gone through and I've beaten the 3 main admins. Then I find out there aren't 3, there's 4. So I beat the 4th admin. And then do you guys remember that construction site?
Yes.
it becomes another Pokemon Colosseum. That's what they're building over there, but it doesn't proc until after a certain point in the game. And so I pulled this up. I'm just gonna read it off. It's not long, but it is my experience that I have been having with pretty much every big battle in this game, where Pokemon has been very consistent with its number generator rules, with its AI for the trainers. And yet, in this specific Pokemon game, the trainers do not act normal at all. They act like they are on their difficulties set to maximum overdrive. And they just do everything possible to fuck you over. And so, like, I was May 9th when I wrote this. I said, I'm literally done playing Pokemon Colosseum. This game has the worst RNG. In one match, the following battle actually occurred. Viewer discretion is advised. So, I shoot out Suicune and Jumpluff, minding my own business. Just trying to win a battle, you know. The opponent had a Huntail and a Lantern for multiple battles. I learned that Huntail had Swift Swim, an opening turn each battle. Both of them use Rain Dance. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I should be able to make a move off that. Nope. Missed my Sleep Powder. And then the Surf misses Huntail. Fine. That's okay. Next, both opponents use Confuse Ray. And the random number generator for our player only. You will hit yourself in confusion 100% of the time. Okay? I don't care what time. I don't know. I don't care who you are and when you play this game. I have never seen a confusion not hit me. I never get to move when I get. I sit there. I go, oh, that confusion ray connected. Well, good game, dude. That's basically it. I can't attack for 5 turns, and I even wrote a little bit about that. I'm trying to like shorten it, so I keep trying again and again and again. And this happens for 5 turns where I hit myself in confusion, and multiple battles. I have done multiple battles against this guy. I can't even count how many because this boss was so hard. I couldn't get to the shadow Pokemon I was trying to catch. Because if I caught him and lost, he wouldn't have the Pokemon. And then I could just beat his ass. I wouldn't have to worry about it. But I couldn't do it. I kept getting confused. The Lantern had Volt Absorb. And he's half water type. So I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'll just use Ampharos and I'll whoop his ass that way. Thunderbolt heals him up. Lantern's apparently bulky in 3rd gen, which I didn't know. And it's so annoying to try and take his health down. And all the rest of his Pokemon aren't weak to electric. Well, Huntail, so I guess he is. But anyway. And it's supposed to be a 50% chance to hit yourself in confusion. And I'm getting 100% conditions for it. This is bullshit. And I'm just... It genuinely enrages me. I even going through the battle tower, is that what they call it? Mount Battle or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the part of the game where it's your grinding zone. Basically, they want you to go through this from 0 to 100, battle all the trainers, like over and over and over again. And that's how you gain your experience, because they didn't design the game with an actual level curve. They just said, you want to get stronger, go to this place and train. Which, in my opinion, is nice, but it's really grindy because you're just going battle trainer after trainer after trainer. But I'm over there, and the same stuff happens. All the RNG goes against me, and it just... I tried... That's why the whole confusion and paralysis are the only way to do it, dude. It's the only way to play the game, because it's 50 chances they have to roll through, and they still make it through, and I don't get it. How do they still pass through 2 walls, and they give me 1, and I always smack the wall? I don't fucking get it.
Same though, like for real.
I'm getting stressed out.
Sure I got my Pokemon confused and they got their Pokemon confused, and I was getting hit, and I was like hitting myself and getting hit because they weren't hitting themselves. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bullshit, and like, I don't know. I am going to finish the game because this actually ties to our entire conversation we had. Earlier we talked about Kingdom Hearts, and earlier last year I had 100% in Kingdom Hearts, and I got all of those trophies for it on the PlayStation 4, and it was such an invigorating feeling. And as I'm playing through this game, I have that same childhood feeling. It's the same feeling I got when I beat Ocarina of Time for the first time. It's like, oh dude, I accomplished the goal I set out when I was a fucking kid. And now that I'm old enough to understand the game and know how to
attempt to abuse the mechanics. I think it's upsetting me that I'm not getting my way with the game. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that's my spiel of it.
All right. I mean, you know, what can you do? Pokemon is RNG incarnate.
For real.
So that was today's episode, guys.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you.
It's
All right. Everybody send us off.
okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, wait.
What? You can do anything you want. You're gonna clap twice.
Well, I mean, you
We clapped
just
once to begin.
yeah, but you just went. How is that any
Yeah,
different?
man. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey.
All right.